Welcome in. This is The Official. We've got a really special show on tap for you guys tonight. Walker White will be joining us, quarterback rated top 12, top 10, top 12 in the 2024 class. So he just started his junior season, already lighting up the scoreboard. And this is the second time we've had him on. Really happy he's given us our time and kind of get a glimpse into what recruiting looks like, from someone who's really going through that process right now. This is a recruiting show, so of course that insight is really special. So we're very glad to have him, and stick with us. This is The Official. All right. Good evening, everybody. We got a full house. We got Matt, we got David, and special guest Walker White, quarterback out of Little Rock Christian Academy in Arkansas. A top 10 to 12 QB, depending on where you look in that 2024 class, but 4-star all around. Walker, thanks for joining us tonight, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank y'all. It's been crazy so far. So, I'm excited to get on and answer some questions.
Yeah, so our plan this year, I met Walker at the Elite 11. He already came on for another show, but he's been really gracious to agree this season to kind of periodically check in with us, talk about how the season's going, how recruiting's going, and that whole process as he, goes through this major process picking a school. So really appreciate that. Before we get started, check out our home website, campus2canton.com, where we have got everything you need for your college fantasy football this year, tools, as well as rankings, as well as articles, and go check that out. But, we're just going to get right into it tonight. So, Walker, you're at 2-0. You've outscored your opponents. I believe it's 90-20 so far, doing what you want to do. How has the season gone to your expectations of those first two games?
The first game, it was more just kind of staying closed off to the other schools out there, because going into Central, we were really confident, so we didn't really want to show a whole lot of what we can do. So we were just staying very basic. And we scored a lot of points. Offense scored 3 touchdowns in the third quarter because we came out hot in the second half due to we didn't do so great in the first half. And defense has done such a great job of doing their job and keeping offenses at such low points. So it looks like the offense is doing great, but the defense is also doing really good as well. And Shiloh Christian was a very fun game, a very hyped up game. Coach Pittman and Coach Loggins, the tight end coach, the guy who recruits me for Arkansas, were on the sidelines of the Shiloh game. So that was really cool to see. And it was just a lot of fun just playing those two games and getting the season started.
So the Shiloh game was the most recent one. You balled out. I think you had like 6 touchdowns, right? 3 on the air, 3 on the ground, just doing it all every which way.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I noticed the defense is doing good. I mean, teams have only scored like 10 to 14 points or something like that. So you're getting to do everything you want to do. So with that said, coming into this 2022 season, junior year, your name is on everyone's radar. Obviously, you mentioned you got Sam Pittman, head coach of hometown Arkansas, is there watching you play. So what's like the biggest difference now that you've kind of gone through this whirlwind in the summer? I saw you at 11. I know you did some visits. You're getting offers. Sam Pittman's on the sideline. What's going through your head? Like, how is this different than last year, maybe before some of this started kicking up?
Well, it's different because last year I didn't have all the attention on me. This year I do. But what's going through my head and what I've been told by other wiser people is just to stay where I'm at, stay grounded, and stay with my team, because I know for some people it's really easy to get caught up in college recruiting and start kind of floating off and mentally away from from your team and from what your goals are this year. And so this year, I think the biggest thing for me is just staying where I'm at and staying with my team locked in on the state championship. And the same thing for next year. I mean, I'm not at the colleges yet. I'm here at Little Rock Christian, and so that's just one of the biggest things for me. And yeah, no, it's been a crazy summer, just going to many different places, traveling many hours in the car. But it was fun. It was fun to go and compete with this summer with a lot of different great quarterbacks and to see a bunch of different schools and coaches. That was fun.
Yeah, going to all those camps this offseason, I imagine you heard a lot of feedback from coaches and trainers. Is there anything you are particularly looking on to show that you've improved at during this season?
I would say accuracy. I feel like I feel like sorry. This summer I have gotten a lot of reps, and I feel like that's the biggest thing for me is reps. And yeah, I've heard a lot of different opinions and I heard a lot of different coachings. But I think the biggest thing for me, because I know at the biggest and highest level, you have to be able to be pinpoint accuracy and be able to put the ball exactly where you want to be. And I last year, I feel like I did a pretty good job of running the ball. I feel like I can use my legs more this year and use them more effectively. Just understanding better situational stuff in games. I think the biggest thing for me this summer that I focused on was accuracy, just getting more reps and reps. Because I've asked other coaches, I was like, so how do you get more accurate? And they're just like reps and figuring it out and timing and footwork. And so all of that ties in to just being able to put the ball exactly where you want. And that's just been a big focus for me.
I'm just curious, is there any player you kind of look up to or maybe model your game after?
Yes, sir. I've been told that by a coach that they remind me of Andrew Luck, but
Yeah.
I always kind of modeled myself after Josh Allen just because he's a runner, he's a passer, he's a big body. But Andrew Luck's not too bad of a comparison as well.
No, not too bad at all. Did you get a chance to listen? There's like a podcast that recently came out that talked a lot about Andrew Luck all the way from high school through his NFL career. He was just like a prodigy from day one, man. So that's definitely a high end
Yes, sir.
comparison.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
I can see it though. I can see it a little bit with the motion. Y'all kind of look a little different with the or a little similar with the mechanics, and you both can run. Although I think from what I've seen, you're a little bit more of an intense runner.
Yes, sir. Yeah. I like to put the wood on some people.
Yeah. I've seen it. I've seen it on tape.
Yes, sir.
After the series of visits you had over the summer, was there any favorite spots or anybody you're really clinging to right now?
I feel like there are some schools that I'm looking to right now. I don't right now have a top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But I mean the schools that have been most consistent are like Ole Miss, LSU, Florida, Arkansas, Louisville, Pitt's consistent. Like all those schools. Louisville's been really consistent. Oklahoma has been reaching out a lot, and so that's just been really cool. I mean, right now, obviously, I'm still in the early stages, only a junior year, and so I'll figure out a lot between now and then. But there are definitely some schools that have stuck out.
It's a great list to have so early.
Yeah, for sure. I got a question along those lines, Walker. Like, you see these guys, and all along the way, they come out with like a top 12, and then they announce a top 4, and then they say, well, I'm going to commit on this day. I'm honestly curious. I have no idea. On your end as the recruit, is there anyone telling you like, hey, you should probably trim down to this number by this day? or is that just between you and your parents and like the people recruiting you, or is there anyone external giving guidance there? Or is this between you and your parents and family?
So I ask for advice a lot, but I've received some advice from college coaches and my high school coaches. They think it'd be a good thing to kind of like know what you really want to do coming to the end of my junior season. And I think I'll be committing around February to March of 2023. Take some official visits. But yeah, no, I mean, there has been a lot of there's never been like an advice of, hey, you need to have this number by this day. It's just been kind of like you kind of like want to know what you mainly want to do by the end of your junior year.
That sounds about right. And honestly, as a quarterback, I think we touched on this the last time you were on. But like as a quarterback, you are probably going to be the face of whatever class you commit to, and we'll have to do some recruiting on your end. I mean, so they're going to want to lock you down and
Right.
in a good way, and be like, hey, this is our QB, and come play with him. So
Right.
I would imagine it makes sense. Like this is your last season, and then you'll go through a little recruiting in the early part of 2023, and that all lines up with the early signing day as well. It kind of kicks up the whole timeline. I feel like.
Well, yeah, it's one of the biggest things for that a lot of coaches told me is they want me to commit before my senior year, obviously, so I can start recruiting some other guys, whether it be receivers, O-line, or running backs, to know that, hey, like this is going to be your QB for like this grade. And so that's just kind of a big deal that they really make an emphasis on.
I have a question about kind of like when you're thinking about a school fit, like how much are you considering like the offensive scheme that they run? Like for instance, like Ole Miss and Arkansas, they kind of spread it out a little bit, have a lot of like heavy RPO. Are you considering like how well you would fit in that type of offense, or what kind of offense do you think you're best in?
Yeah, no, I think I can do. I'm able to do whatever a coach needs me to do, but I'm definitely taking into consideration about what I will be running whenever I go there. I feel like that's a huge part of my decision because if I buy into what I'm running and what I'm trying to accomplish on the field, then it'll work even more. Tom Brady and his quarterback coach used to go through plays, or probably do. He's still playing, but what they go over their plays, and Tom Brady's like, "No, I don't like that," and they'll just cut it off because if the quarterback doesn't buy into it, then it won't work, and the offense won't end up executing it as well as it probably should be.
Yeah, I totally agree with you there. So a little bit kind of an add-on to that, as you're going through this process, are you watching games on Saturday? I know you play like Friday. Are you watching some of these schools? Like, hey, I want to see what Ole Miss is putting on the field. I want to see what KJ Jefferson's doing at Arkansas this year. Or, obviously my guy Anthony Richardson at Florida. Like, are you watching and saying, I want to see what this product looks on the field? Can I see myself there?
I am, yes, sir. I'll play Fridays, and obviously I'll be going to a few games this fall to watch in person. But we'll go back and watch them. Like last night, we watched the Clemson, and I went back and watched the Ole Miss. Obviously, watched the Arkansas, and like I'm just trying to just keep an eye on some schools that are focusing on me, just to see how they're running things, and just kind of look at what they run and how they use the players that they have. But yeah, that it is. I mean, I love college football too. Like I enjoy watching it. So it's not like I'm doing it for film purposes. It's like, yes, that helps. But I mean, I love watching college football. So yes, sir, I am watching a lot of Saturday football.
That's awesome. One of us. He's one of us, guys. Well, dude, yeah. So I think that's all from me. I don't know if David or Matt has a last question. Otherwise, we can let you get out of here. I know you probably got a ton of things to do by the end of the night still, and then go to practice tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm all good, man. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, man.
All right, Walker,
Hey,
take it easy.
Hey, maybe when I commit, you can have me on as a co-host, and we can call some of the guys together and try to talk them to come in with me. Some other recruits.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
let's do it.
Works for me.
Yeah.
Let's make this a big
Yeah.
deal.
Yes, sir.
No, for
Let's do it.
sure. We'll do that, and then
I have
also,
a couple guys.
I think great. Yeah, give us a list. We'll reach out. And then I think we're scheduled to have you on after your big season, matchup with Pulaski. So hopefully we'll have some good news next time when we have you on.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sounds good.
All right, take it easy, Walker.
Yes, sir.
See ya.
Bye.
See you.
All right. Okay, so that was good stuff. We're heading into phase 2 of our show. Got a couple big games to talk about. I mean, obviously, Walker, thanks to him for coming on. He had like 6 touchdowns last week. That was huge. We already mentioned that. Another huge game. Kyle Parker had a season-long stat line in a game. We were talking about this in the chat. I think someone said, like, that's a good season for a lot of guys. 23 catches, 341 and 3. I think of all the numbers, the one that stands out the most is 23 catches. Like, that feels insane. I don't even know how it's happened. Matt, you watched it. How did that happen? How did they get to 23 receptions?
Yeah, so this is actually a top 10 versus top 10 matchup in Texas. So these are two pretty big teams playing against each other. But Lovejoy, they run a very up-tempo, no-huddle, RPO offense. And he was basically over 30% of his routes were little quick bubble screens. And that's where a lot of those catches did come from. He had a few big plays where he just, slipped through the defense, got open. The numbers are amazing, obviously. I didn't love the tape as much. I do like Kyle Parker as a player, but, when you see that stat line, you're expecting this amazing performance. And really, when you're watching the game, it's just a lot of dink and dunk passes over and over and over again. So, I mean, still incredible performance. I really like Kyle Parker. I actually have him over Jaylen Brown right now for the 2023 class for LSU. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I like him.
And pretty interesting. If you're saying a lot of these were bubble screens and stuff, he must have had a ton of yak. And he looks like that kind of player. I mean, I've watched him too. I do like him. Very shifty with the ball in his hands. I can imagine how, he basically would take a bubble screen 12, 15 yards every single time by making a couple guys miss. But yeah, I mean, 23 receptions absolutely is a season long number for some of these guys. Yeah. That's absolutely insane. And then, Matt, I know you love Cedric Baxter, so I'm going to throw this to David if he has any comments. But we all like Cedric Baxter, but he's kind of seems to have kicked it up a notch here in 2022. A 26, 272, 2 line last week, but I believe that's his second game with over 20 carries and 20 yards a pop. So far, he has not had less than 20 carries. He's not had less than 200 yards. Averaging over 10 yards per carry on the season. That's about 1.5 to 2 yards more than like last year. This is approaching like Derrick Henry level stuff. I mean, not quite, because I don't know if anyone ever gets I think he was like 400 carries for like 6,000 yards or something as a senior. But nice work by Cedric Baxter. Does this do anything for you, David, or you already had him as 1 and you're not going to waiver? I don't know. I can't remember.
Yeah, it keeps. I mean, he's going to stay in tier 1. He's not moving. It's good to see that he's continuing to crush like we all thought he would. I guess it makes me a little more nervous for Jadon Blue even more now. Like the fact that he's 190 and now Baxter's coming in behind him. It's like, oh God, is he gonna be so good that he just leapfrogs him? So that's kind of something that makes me. That's like one effect that his performance is having. I just wanted to throw in one other guy real quick. We don't have him on the list, but Roderick Robinson is another guy that so far he has 38 carries for 554 yards and 7 touchdowns. So he's averaging like 14.5 yards per carry too. So that's like another one of these guys that we don't have to worry about their weight. I mean, he's like 230 pounds. He's an absolute hoss. So he's kind of similar to this. He's not as athletic as Baxter, but he's this other guy that's ultra productive and he's huge. So that's another guy to kind of
Yeah,
highlight.
that's a great point that he's I mean that's huge. That's like 15, yeah, you said like 15, 16 yards a carry. That's crazy. Wow, that's impressive at that high. I mean, yeah, and he's truly like approaching Derrick Henry size. I mean, pushing 240 in high school. And he can catch a little bit. I think that's what a lot of us here at C2C kind of raised our eyebrows, because not only is he kind of a load on the ground, but he has shown soft hands at the camps. He's shown the ability to kind of be a passing game guy at that size. You know, I'll say it. I mean, Le'Veon Bell is the last guy at that size who caught that many balls, you know, like 230, 240 type. So, yeah, pretty interesting guy there. And then finally, throwing it back to Matt, I know Micah Hudson, who's a 2024 receiver, but very highly ranked. I think he's top 5 for all of us. He had quite a performance recently, 7 for 140 and 3 touchdowns, but we love to see it. 3 carries, also punt returns, kind of doing it all for his high school team, which I believe is out of Texas. So you love those Texas guys.
Yeah, he's out of Lake Belton, Texas, which actually is, you know, more of an average size school in Texas, but still at Texas competition. So that's what you love to see. And he's just such a clean, well-rounded player. I have really no concerns about his game going into, you know, his junior season already. You know, he's already getting carries. He's great after the catch. He can get open. In the game that I just charted, he averaged over 2 yards of separation on targets,
Wow.
which is the highest so far that I've charted.
That's a lot of anybody, including other classes.
This is only I've only have 11 guys so far, so we're not talking a huge sample.
For 24.
For just overall 24.
Oh,
24. We just
started. I think that's still a great number. I mean, 2 yards is awesome. Yeah, I know that we've talked pretty glowingly. He's still a year out, but you know, as we just talked to Walker White, you know, this is gonna jump right up on us. I mean, you know, we're like, oh, it's 2024. We're gonna blink, and we're all of a sudden gonna be all over the 2024 class. So you can never really get too early, I don't think. And he is truly one of the elite talents in that class. Putting great in the lines together already as a junior. So pretty interesting stuff. I forgot to take a look at my guy. I'm going to start like bringing him up every week. That freshman out of American Heritage, Tony, I think is his last name. But so
he's got tons of offers. Did you see that?
I'm sure he did. I mean, he's a true freshman showing out on national TV. I'm sure he got a lot of mail.
Within 24 hours, I think he got 20 offers from top schools. Like I'm talking big schools too.
Gosh, he's gonna be a fun one to watch. And when they show it early, man, you gotta just get on that, because it's never too early. I think that's what we're learning here, doing this week in and week out. Well, that's it for me. You know, I think it's a shorter show tonight. There's not a lot of commitments going on right now. We're right in the thick of the season. Week 1 just started. So we're going to be maybe tracking some visits. I think that becomes important, especially visits of guys who are committed, such as you mentioned Cedric Baxter at Texas, but he is coming to Gainesville for the Kentucky game, or he was there for the Utah, one of the two. So some of these guys that are committed but still could take some visits, I think it might be worth keeping an eye for flip watch for some of these dudes. So anyway, if anyone else has any last second thing, I think we can wrap it up. It's been a good show. Fun to talk to Walker White.
That's about it for me.
Yeah, good show. Good to talk to Walker.
All right, guys. Yeah, we're going to bring him back on. I believe the schedule has, after like their huge rival, which Pulaski, they got beat last year. So hopefully we'll get some more positive news. But thanks for sticking with The Official. Check out campustocanda.com. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed this show. It really helps us out. And with that said, this has been The Official.